Hi, I'm Carrie Blazer, the Divine Feminine, reincarnation of Mary Magdalene. Thank you for clicking on my clip. But I want to let you know that I have a free ebook linked below, my 6 Divine Feminine Self-Love Strategies. They will help you transform your emotional wounds into personal wisdom. And I take a multidisciplinary approach. I include the laws of physics, psychology, neuroscience, shamanism, mysticism. I went wild, okay? So men can understand and women can understand. There's something there for everyone because what I learned is when something's true, it's true in multiple places. All right, please like and subscribe and help me distribute my ebook to everyone for free by exploding my channel. Take care. Enjoy the clip. Bye. When something is true, it's true in multiple places, and we can learn from neuroscience, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and the field of epigenetics, meaning what happens before genetics, both proving Einstein's quote that the field is the sole governing agency of the particle. When we focus on the particle controlling the field, we're working from inverted wisdom. That's a lie. We're not living in reality. And that's what cancel culture does. That's what canceling hate speech does, is controlling the particle as opposed to starting with the field. But I want us to start with the field. And let's start with Dr. Joe Dispenza, who gets right into this. It's awesome. Here we go. So the reason he brings us back to the present moment and take all of your attention outside of yourself, because changing the world is an inside job. So changing your world is an inside job. But when we focus on things outside of ourselves, like punish them for these words and, and like canceling hate speech and cancel culture, that doesn't address the field. And the field controls the particle. That's inverted wisdom. The controlling the particle does not control the field, and controlling the particle does not control the other particle. So we have to start with the field, and that's withdrawing all of your projections, as Carl Jung would say, going completely back to self. And the self always lives in the present moment because emotions are always in the present moment. Now, let me bring up Dr. Bruce Lipton, who has a great example about how this works with two kids who were adopted into a family. Epigenetics has proven that less than 1% of our diseases are created from our genetics. So more than 99% of our diseases are created by our field, and this is proof of it. So let me share my screen and play what he has to say. Right, we are masters of our genetic activity. When I think of a hamburger, whether it's present or not, my mouth salivates. The field is the sole governing agency of the particle. If I have, a sexual fantasy about a hot guy, I get physically turned on. The field is the sole governing agency of the particle. And this is why we have to start on the inside. This is why it's a frequency in our hearts that creates heaven on earth. That's what early Christians were teaching. And that's what was stomped out. And when the Christian church was created in the 4th century, it was created to align, to mirror, and support the creation of nation states. One king controlling all of us, external locus of control. So if everyone was learning inner authority, how to experience enlightenment on their own, that was not in alignment with the creation of nation states, so it was stomped out. But today we're going to learn that our heart is a vortex. Vortex of, that's creation, right? So Dr. Joe, I learned this from Dr. Joe Dispenza, that the electromagnetic field around our hearts is 5,000 times stronger than our brains. And the nervous system in our hearts is far more complex than our brains. And our hearts send about 90% more signals to our brains than the other way around. So if we think about learning to surf the waves of life, you have to surrender. There's the feminine. Surrender to your fear, guilt, and shame. Build up the kinetic energy, the momentum, the propulsion from going downhill. And then that's what catapults you high. Like life is like jumping on a trampoline. You have to explore your depths to catapult you to your heights. How high can you go when you don't jump very deep? When you jump a little, you go a little bit high. But if you go really hard deep, then you see what I'm saying? Because we have energy bodies, it's all based on the laws of physics. And Tesla said, if you want to understand the secrets to the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So when the soul communicates out through the heart, if the soul communicates fear, the fear signal goes to the brain releases cortisol. But if the heart's communicating love, then we get healthy hormones, then we have emotionally regulated people internally, and then we can have civil discourse in the long run. So the inside work is a long-term solution. Punishment is a short-term solution that'll never last in the long run because it goes against how reality is created. We live in a holographic universe, so we have to fix what's doing the projecting, not punish the hologram.